And here are the answers for Chapter 5. A user is a node, true or false? The answer is false. Both users and nodes are entities, but users and nodes are separate kinds of entities. Question 2. What module will allow you to add user types in Drupal 8? The answer is B, profile. As of this recording, it's not quite ready to use, at least not in the way that we're using it, but in the near future it probably will be, so keep an eye on it if you have a use case for user roles. Question 3. How can you assign a permission to a user? Check all that apply. The answer, C and D. So C is create a role, assign a permission to that role, and assign a user to that role. The important part here is that you assign permission to roles, not to users directly. So we can do that by creating a new role, or by assigning a permission to a role that already exists. Any user that can log in, any user, once they've logged in, are considered authenticated users. So you can also add a permission to that role. Question 4. When you add a field to the user entity, which users does it affect? And the answer is A, all authenticated users. And that's why we had to think about some other solutions besides just adding fields to users. Because if you have different kinds of users, you don't necessarily want to extend all of them with the same fields. And finally, question 5. What steps do you need to take to allow a user to edit just their own content? Check all that apply. So the answers are B and C. We need to give a user permission to edit their own content, and then we need to assign the user the authorship of the content that they should edit. If we give them the administrator role, they'll be able to edit all content, not just their own. All right, now let's walk through the challenges. So the first challenge was create a view listing all of our users in alphabetical order. So let's go back to our site and create a new view. We'll call this delete me, and we'll show users. And under sorting, it doesn't give us the option to go alphabetical, so we'll leave that. We're not going to create a page or a block. This is just a test, so let's click Save and Edit. If we scroll down, we can see a preview of all of our users here. So the only other thing that we need to do is sort this. So let's add some sort criteria. I'll click Add, and let's search for name, for username. Okay, check this, and we'll click Add and Configure Sort Criteria, and let's sort ascending, and click Apply. Okay, AJKP. That looks good. Let's clean this up and delete this view. And let's go to the second challenge. Challenge 2 was create a view showing just tour types that Joey has created. So this is in a similar spirit to the last challenge. Let's go back to the site and let's add a new view. We'll call this delete me. We're going to show content of all type tour types, and we'll click Save and Edit. And now we need to filter this out by the creator. So under filter criteria, let's add a new one, and let's type in author. So there's a couple of authored bys here. One is content revision. Let's pick content. We're not dealing with revisions just yet. I'll click Add and Configure Filter Criteria, and it allows us to select specific ones. So right now we just want Joey, so we'll select Joey. Let's click Apply. Let's look down at our preview. Sure enough, we have his 2 tours listed here. All right, let's clean this up. I'm going to delete the view. Delete. And then let's check out our last challenge, give Kate permission to create new basic pages. I'm going to go back to the site, and now we can't assign permissions directly to Kate, so we can go about this a couple different ways. One, we can assign that access to an existing role, but if we look at our roles, we don't really have one that encompasses the idea of editing basic pages. So to me, it makes a lot more sense to add a new role. So let's add a new role, and let's call it Page Creator, and let's click Save. And now let's edit the permissions in this role. I'm going to search for basic page. Okay, and here we go, create new content. I'm also going to add edit own content because it rarely makes sense to be able to allow someone to add their own content but not edit it later. We'll click Save Permissions. And now in order for Kate to be able to have these permissions, we need to assign this role to her. So I'll go to People, and next to Kate, we'll go Edit, and we'll select Page Creator. And save. Okay, now that we've accomplished all of the missions of the Overachiever Rater, let's see how our status has changed.